All right, chickens. Chickens. Everybody want to talk about chickens. So I thought I would weigh in as well, give you my 2 cents. This by no means is a how you should raise chickens guide. Just showing you our setup, possibly give you something you could glean from, maybe incorporate some of the same principles into your coop and setup. And we live in zone 3B. Gets pretty frigid in the winter up here. Much different in the summer. We pretty much let our birds free range and come and go as they please. But in the winter, it needs to be pretty well buttoned up to keep the birds comfortable and laying. It was converted to the chicken coop after using it for an aquaponics setup when we first moved up here. Kept the ducks in there as well. Beautiful birds, good foragers, good layers. They are the Welsh Harlequin breed with the blue and purple in the feathers, so they are very pretty as well. Trying to keep the building at 70 to 80 degrees along with keeping the fish tank heated through the winters was just too costly for us. Plus we had, grow lights and pumps. The electricity was simply more in than we were getting out. If we were ever to move to a warmer climate, I would for sure do another setup like this. But in our zone, it just didn't make sense. The cool thing is I don't think I would have built our chicken coop as well insulated as this. And I'm really glad that we went through that step and ended up with this as our coop because it serves us really well in the winter. The coop itself is 16 feet long by 8 feet wide. Can't stress enough that you should just bite the bullet and build a large coop. We rebuilt ours 3 times before using this one. So it's 8 feet high on the south side with all the windows and the greenhouse run, and 7 feet on the north side. So it has that slight pitch just from the way I built it. The north side also doubles as storage. It's a good place to store everything you need out there, plus it's well shaded. So it's a good spot to take a break on those hot summer days when you're doing chores and what have you. The entire coop is framed on top of 6x6 treated skids that sit directly on the ground. So it is a dirt floor, and though some of you may be concerned with predators digging underneath the coop, to get at your birds, we really haven't had any issues yet, and that's partly why we've trained our dog to think that the flock is his. We used positive reinforcement and clicker training to accomplish that. He is way better than any kind of wire you're going to bury into the ground. Connected to the coop is an 8 by 30 foot run. It pretty much mimics the coop itself, it's just a bit longer. It's constructed out of chicken wire and metal fence posts, nothing fancy. We did some landscape timbers screwed together with one across the top. It gives it a good ridge beam to throw the wire over. A more recent run is what we refer to as the greenhouse run. I built this fall just before the ground froze out of some old sliding glass door panels. I got these from a friend of mine. Shout out Mr. Balmer, appreciate it. This one measures 3 feet by about 15 feet long, and it will double as a greenhouse in the summer for our tomatoes. This run was really cool. I'm really glad that I had the opportunity to do it. It works so well. There's such a huge solar gain factor throughout the winter when the sun is shining. There's easily a 50 degree plus difference from the outside temp. The inside of the coop is sectioned off with a 4-foot section dedicated to storage and feed. This was extremely helpful, a huge upgrade, and I can't stress enough how much this pays off in the long run, especially in the winter. It's just really nice to have a workstation right inside the door without the girls underneath your feet as soon as you walk in. This part of the workstation, it's kind of a low shot. You can see where I built a brooder for the chicks, and I framed it in a way where I can stack, hundreds of pounds of feed on top, buckets, oyster shells, all that kind of stuff. I only keep the chicks in here for a couple of weeks at the very beginning because it's a nice tight space. I have the heat lamps right above them. Then after that, they go to the greenhouse run. You can see one of the garbage cans. That's where we keep our feed. If you have any experience living out in the country, in the woods, on the prairie, you know that mice are ridiculous. So aluminum cans work really well. You can roughly put about 100 pounds of feed in each one of these garbage cans. We get our layer mash, grower, starter, all that from a local elevator. I really like the guys that run it. I suggest if you can find a place with people you like and help in supporting their hard work. We also give the flock whole corn, wheat berries, rolled oats, a decent chicken scratch, has barley and such throughout the winter. Another thing concerning the feed is we don't really use feeders anymore. Unless we go out of town for a weekend or something, we usually just scatter their ration for the day over the mulch of the floor. It allows them to scratch and mimic foraging within the coop. They actually seem to lay better if they don't have unlimited access to the feed all day. We have gone through numerous water systems in dealing with our girls. Here are 3 of them. Another style that we have been using just this winter is the heated dog dish. We had an extra one that we got on clearance last spring for like $5, and they work really, really well. I simply built a shelf about a foot off the ground and set either the heated dog dish or that rubber dish on it, and the girls use it just fine. I do want to make a point to encourage you to keep your birds' water really clean. It makes a huge difference as far as the health of your girls, which equates to better egg production. So we have 3 different types of nesting boxes in our coop. We have this row of old milk crates that we can access from the storage section without going into the flock side. We can also deny the hens access to the nest simply by spinning them around. It also makes it really easy to put new straw in there and for collecting eggs. Here is the standard store-bought nests that we received from a good friend of ours who bought a couple too many. Shout out to the bakers. And these are ones I made out of scrap ply and pallet wood, which seems to be the ones that the ladies like the best. I think it's, you see where I added that extra blonde board to make the nest deeper. In your head, you think that the openings have to be so big, but throughout the years, as I would watch them kick out the straw trying to get comfortable in there, I decided to put that extra board on, and as soon as I put that board on there, their nests started being a lot tighter spun. And now when I go to get the eggs, I would say about 90% of them are laid in those 2 deeper boxes. So as far as bedding in the coop, we use pine shavings and we do the deep mulch method. It gets extremely deep in there towards spring. So at least once a week, usually twice, I'll get out there and I'll pile that compost as high as I can in the center of the coop. The girls really like this. It gives them an opportunity to scratch through and find any feed or grains they haven't got. Keeps everything turned really well, keeps the smell down. It also will heat up if it gets wet enough from throwing the old dirty water on the floor when I freshen up the water dishes. That is until they scratch it all down, which normally only takes 2 to 3 days. Early spring, I'll remove all of the bedding from the coop and mix it up with the stuff I've been throwing in the compost piles outside throughout the winter. I work on breaking that down for about a month, and then that goes straight into the garden beds and orchard. There is a whole lot more that I could get into, but I wanted to keep this a decent length video, so I think I'll wrap it up. Hope it was informative and that you got something out of it. Thanks for watching.